Let's get into it. Okay, so starting with our speakers. I'm not sure if you can just see me or both Annie and Julie, but I'll start with myself. So I'm Nama, I'm the community manager at Guesty. I've already spoken personally to some of you, and some of you may already know me from our newsletter or from our Facebook group. And if you're not already in our Facebook group, then I'm just going to take this opportunity to invite you to join. Millie from my team is going to post the link in the chat, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you all there. I'm going to introduce the incredible Annie Sloan, who is co-founder and CEO of the Host Co. Annie, maybe say hi so that just in case they can't see you, then your voice will bring you forward.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Annie Sloan.
Thank you. So Annie has been an STR host since 2009 and has some really incredible insights to share. Her company, The Host Co., is the hospitality platform that connects local amenities to short-term rentals, from getting a massage and a chef to fresh flowers, bike rentals, and beyond. Super excited to have you here, Annie.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. And last, but certainly not least, we have Julie Mallett. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
So Julie is the owner of The Haven in North Carolina. Julie is a super host. Her listings are a guest favorite and in the top 5% of listings on Airbnb. In addition to being a host, Julie and her husband own several small businesses, including CPA firms in Tennessee and Georgia. If you enjoy beautiful pictures and want some inspiration, definitely check out her Instagram account. Millie from my team is going to be sharing the link in the chat. I highly recommend that you check it out. All right, so now that we've introduced everyone, let's just quickly run through our agenda. So we're going to start by discussing why guest experience is so important for growth and how using the right tools is key to your success. Next, we'll cover ancillary services for boosting revenue, building loyalty, and growing your bookings. And lastly, we'll talk to Julie and hear her tips and expert advice for running a successful STR business. And of course, like I said, we're gonna leave time at the end for Q&A. So any questions that you have for myself, for Annie, or for Julie, please leave them in the Q&A. We will go through as many as we can. All right, so without further ado, welcome to Guesty. For those of you who are new to Guesty, Guesty is a property management software, a PMS, that is designed first and foremost to make your life easier as a host by providing you tools to simplify your operations and boost your revenue. Through Guesty, you can manage your listings on different channels like Airbnb, Booking.com, VRBO, and your own booking site, all in one place with features like a multi-calendar and a unified inbox, all neatly packaged in one intuitive platform. So that's what is Guesty, but now why? Or more broadly, why is using a PMS such a game changer for short-term rental hosts? So starting off with the multi-channel management. This capability helps you boost your revenue by syncing your listings across all the various channels, optimizing your pricing, and making sure that you don't miss out on bookings. So when you use a PMS, you're simply saving precious time by automating things like guest messaging, automating your calendar updates, your daily tasks, so that you can focus on growing your business instead of just chasing check-ins. On top of that, a PMS helps you deliver a better guest experience, which is something that we're going to talk a lot about today, right? So a PMS allows you to communicate quickly and personally with your guests, which leads to happier stays and better reviews. We'll talk about reviews as well. We're going to go into that a little bit more later, but I'm sure that hosts here can agree that being a responsive host is something that is highly valued amongst guests. And if you've ever traveled yourself and stayed at Airbnbs, you know, even as a guest, how important that is. So finally, a PMS will just keep everything organized, right? It will keep all of your bookings, your data, and your tools all in one place. So you're not switching between spreadsheets and apps and different tools. And that just means a lot less room for mistakes. We're all human, we all make mistakes, but we want to minimize that as much as possible. And a PMS, a good PMS, will certainly help you do that. So this is really interesting. I mentioned that good reviews are important, and I'm sure you've all heard this before, right? But 5-star reviews will boost your visibility on platforms like Airbnb and Booking.com, helping you show up higher in search results so that more people will see your listings. And when guests see those high ratings, it builds trust, making them more likely to book with you and later on to recommend you to their circle. So it's a ripple effect. You can look at it like that, right? Better reviews will lead to better rankings, which lead to more bookings and ultimately more revenue in your pocket. And we found that with 81% of guests reading reviews before they book, focusing on guest experience is really just a smart growth strategy that you should be investing in. 81%. Okay, so we said, yes, it's important. Reviews are important, right? Reviews are important to drive more bookings. How do we get those good reviews? So I'm going to make a few points, and then I'm going to pass it on to Annie and to Julie, who both have incredible insights and really practical tips that they can share. But before I pass it on to Annie, I'm going to just touch on this one point. So you want to start with running your smooth operations, right? Smooth operations will enable great service. It's really hard, and I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. It's really hard to deliver a great guest experience if you're constantly putting out fires. But when your back-end operations are organized, that means that you can respond faster, you can handle guest issues calmly, and you can focus on hospitality rather than chaos and all the logistics. And in order to achieve those smooth operations, you need the right tools that will empower you to succeed. What we've found is that creating a consistently great guest experience isn't just about hard work. It's about having the right systems in place to make it easier. So just for example, from Guesty, so a tool that can help you automate messaging and stay organized means that you can scale the level of your hospitality, but still manage your business efficiently at the same time. You have some of those simple tasks are automated, and that leaves you a lot of room to just take your hospitality to the next level. And finally, maybe the most important, but memorable stays will boost those ratings, that wow factor, right? Yes, a clean Airbnb and a host that gives you all the right information and a smooth check-in, that's very, very important. But it's that wow factor, that memorable thing that will get your guests to be excited about leaving a review and be excited about sharing on social media and passing it along. And that's really something that is that extra thing that will just take everything to the next level. And Annie and Julie are gonna touch on that as well. So just before I pass it on to Julie, to Annie, keep saying I'm gonna pass it on to Annie, I am going to. I just wanna end with this one review. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so I want to show, this is a real life example of a review that our incredible Julie received not too long ago. And this 5-star review, I chose it because I think it perfectly illustrates the importance of delivering an exceptional guest experience that will lead guests to return, to share on social media, and encourage more bookings. So this is a review by Evan, who used Julie's listing as a honeymoon destination, and he clearly loved his experience. But something stands out, and that is how he talks about Julie as a host. So let me just take you to the end here. Evan says, "What truly made our stay exceptional was the host's outstanding responsiveness. Julie was incredibly communicative, friendly, and went above and beyond to ensure we had everything we needed." So we're going to hear from Julie in just a bit about how she achieved this level of hospitality. But first, finally, Annie, over to you.
Hello, everyone. So we're going to talk about, obviously, ancillary services and what they do. They boost revenue, they build loyalty, they create specific memories is the other thing. I think a lot of us used to think in this space, oh, the design, oh, we have an Instagram wall. But that is not the thing that 4 weeks after the stay, that guest is at a bar with their buddy and says, you know what we did while we were there? Well, you know what? They hooked us up with a yacht charter. Or you know what they had? Or they offered us a hibachi night guy for our family reunion. We didn't use it, but I heard you have a family reunion coming up. Or hey, I know your wife really likes to get a massage on vacation. We got a great massage at this listing. And the key part of that is at this listing. That memory is connected specifically to you and your listing, not connected to the town, not connected to the booking channel. They are talking about a memory that they are definitely associating with your place. And a good review and a good stay is that combination of great hospitality, like Julie is providing. It's obviously a beautiful, clean place. But the third part of that is that those ancillary services that create the memory. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Amazing.
So before we go any further, I think the first thing is, what the heck are ancillary services? The word ancillary services is kind of meaningless. It's sort of like the term, what do we have available, right? So ancillary services encompass a lot of different things, right? They're also sometimes called upsells. They are services that are available connected to the listing. They don't have to be on the listing, but near the listing or about the listing. They are rentals sometimes, and they are products that are available that enable the guest to upgrade their stay. So those could be curated local amenities, massage, chef, portrait photography session, etc. Those could be on-site purchasable upgrades, firewood, mid-stay cleaning, linen refresh, sunblock. Most of these things are not things that your guest is buying on site, but sometimes it's things like, oh, they lost your beach towels, right? Great. Well, we have some more, just restocking fee, and they'll love to buy them because they have the name of your town on them, right? Ancillary services are upgrades and fees, parking passes, gratuity, gift certificates for future stays, additional people staying, all of those things, right? And then they are rentable products, bikes with insurance, kayaks, a pontoon boat with a driver would also be a rentable product. And then things like alterations, pool heating, late checkout, extra guests. I'll give you a really good, a hot tip. Many people have a pet fee. I will tell you, people's pets are their babies. If you offer them a deluxe pet experience instead of a pet fee with 2 bowls that say Sedona, Arizona, and a little handkerchief, they will absolutely love that. They will be happy to pay for that. They'll take a photo of it to show their friends. Things like that are ancillary services to the stay. And I'll also say that with a lot of hosts and property managers, the first thing they think is knee-jerk reaction, I don't want to sell anything to my guests, right? And that's true. You should never be nickel and diming your guests. You should not be charging them for coffee. You should not be charging them for an extra toothbrush. But think about it this way. When you walk into a hotel, beautiful hotel, and you walk up to the front, you probably walk by something that is for sale that could be helpful for you. You walk up to the front and they say, oh, your room's not ready yet. But we also have a room with a nicer view if you're interested. Oh, okay. Well, if you're not interested, here is our spa menu. All these things, if you'd like to add some spa services to your stay, and why don't you go have a drink at our bar? Our bar is open before your room is ready. All of those things are ancillary services. All of those things are upsells, but they are treated like an extra, an addition, that they are doing extra, that they're going over the top for you to show you all the things they have available. And that is what ancillary services are, is improving the hospitality. And many times those things come with a cost that is basically going to be assumed by everyone involved. So that's where we start with ancillary services.
Amazing.
And why are these important now? Why are we talking about this now when we were talking about it 5 years ago? Well, obviously technology has changed, so we can access a lot of these services in STR and not just hotel. But also, nearly 2/3 of current guests make experience the core booking driver, right? In this day and age, people say, I'm going to see Taylor Swift in Nashville. They don't say, I'm going to Nashville to see Taylor Swift, right? I'm going to go to this one coffee shop in Mexico City that I saw on TikTok to get this one product. They say I'm going to the coffee shop before they say I'm going to Mexico City. So people are booking on the experience over the destination. That doesn't mean that they're not booking. The destination is important, but there's something they often want to do in that town or experience in that town. So 52% of Gen Z will also splurge on experience versus 29% of boomers. 7 of 10 travelers choose hotels over short-term rentals. We're talking about all travelers, citing lack of amenities as the number one reason. And amenities and ancillaries, you can kind of put them in the same bucket. And really important, full service hotels. And this is where we're talking about the revenue piece of this. Full service hotels make about 30% of all of their revenue on revenue from after the booking. That's food, that's wellness, that's late checkouts, that's all of the things involved, because they know that your guest is already there and they are happy to spend more. I know that may be an eye roll statement on things that they really want during the stay. And if you can help them with that, even better. And of course, last stat, 77% of Gen Z and millennials choose travel experience based on their passion points instead of their destination, 77%. So even some of the things that are not ancillary services, you should be talking about them in your listing. If they are passion points that people are thinking of, if there is a fish run in your town in Alaska and everyone is coming to town for the fish run, you should be saying fish run in your listing across every channel, right? If it is next to a NASCAR track, you should be saying NASCAR, NASCAR, NASCAR. We're right by NASCAR. Make sure that you are using those passion points in your listing.
That's so true, and something I see everywhere, right? I know, again, I'm going to use myself as an example, but if I'm looking for a destination or somewhere to stay, I'm absolutely looking. That's part of the fun. That's part of the planning, is looking at what's around it and what's connected.
Yeah.
Sure.
And ancillary services superpowers. This is the main thing here is it's going to bring you. So ancillary service, let's say that is massage and spa, and you have a yacht charter available by a local person. And maybe my short-term rentals are at Joshua Tree. So an ancillary service there would be a Reiki healer and a sound bath, because it's like a super woo-woo destination, right? Those things are going to bring you, if you talk about them in your listings, they are going to bring you higher booking consideration, right? Hey, we can connect you to a yacht charter. You know, we have on-demand Reiki healer, right? Those things, even talking about them, in Joshua Tree, there are 1,900 listings that all look like designy bohemian destinations, right? What is the thing you're showing even? You're showing that you have a beautiful catered lunch in the backyard, right? You're showing that you have someone that can do an outdoor movie night. Those things get your guest into the mindset of already thinking about what they can do on site, and pushes them into booking and pushes them into competitive advantage. 50%, I know I'm full of stats, but 51% of travelers get more joy from anticipating and planning the trip than they do being on the trip. So what you're doing by saying we have these things available, even if they don't use them, is you're getting them excited, you're getting them emotionally connected to your listing. And again, that's giving you higher booking consideration and that competitive advantage. That leads into, of course, the second thing, stronger connection to the listing. So let's say they do book, great. You are messaging them right after they book. Thanks for booking. We're so excited to have you stay. If you'd like to add any upgrades for local services like massage, chef, Reiki healer, or yacht charter, I'm just going to use the crazy ones, everybody, but the big ones, let us know. Check it out. Here's with us, it's our guest extras portal with the host code, right? Your guest is likely never going to book a yacht charter, but because they know it's available, they already feel stronger. They're already likely going to give you a better review. You already seem like more of a luxury property, even if it's a 1-bedroom studio, right? And they're going to, if they don't use it, that doesn't mean they're not going to talk about it with their friends 5 weeks from now. Oh, I heard your anniversary is coming up. I just stayed at this place. I was there for work, but they had a yacht charter. It looks so cool, right? That is how you're getting that stronger connection to the listing. Third, there is a lot of money to be made in ancillary services. If you, as the property manager, are offering them yourselves mid-stay cleaning, linen refresh, late checkout, many of the things that you can do on site. Something like, hey, this has probably happened to everybody. Hey, we're coming to town and my girlfriend really loves lilies. Can you get her some lilies? Like, people are so funny when they're guests. They're so strange, right? Things like that are things that you can make money on, or someone on your team Often your cleaner is open to extra work, or you have a runner on your property management team, or you have a college kid home for the summer or the winter who would love to do holiday decor, things like that. Those are all revenue makers. We have property managers who are using the host co. Our biggest user has, I think, 80 cabins, and they're making $100,000 more a year on ancillary services. And they're selling three things. They're selling firewood, massage, and late checkout. They are making $100,000 a year in revenue. And they are also the property manager. They're not necessarily the owner. So those of you that are property managers, this is also a revenue stream that can really be guest experience that you are running. Okay. And lastly, in this category is better marketing. And this is something that, people think, oh, ancillary services, I can make some more money. Full stop, right? You can use this to really improve your marketing all across the board. So we had a property manager who added a mobile tattoo artist for the week of Coachella to their giant Coachella villa. No, I'll start out by saying, yes, it's legal. We had to make sure no one booked it. But 3 months before Coachella, that property manager sends out an email that says, mobile tattoo artist, flash tats at our Coachella villa. I can't imagine someone not opening that email, right? And even getting the booking consideration that they weren't even planning on going to Coachella. But now look at this villa. It's beautiful. I'm seeing the photos because I opened the email. Think about another property manager sending out an email 3 months before Coachella that says, get 10% off, book early for Coachella. That's not doing anything for you, right? So you can use ancillary services every single month. Pick a different ancillary service. Connection to, hey, now we have a company that will drive up a barrel sauna into our front yard. That is getting people into booking consideration, right? Also, reasons to rebook. When you get that email you booked last year, you weren't planning on staying again, but you're going to open that email, right? And also, if you have a direct booking website, this is something that will get people to come to your website. And I think we all know if you get them into your website, they're already returning to that purchase funnel state and consideration when they had no interest in doing that before. So all of these things are these superpowers that are just kind of under the surface with ancillary services. And we can move on because I think that's a big mouthful. So,
no, you're spot on. And I think also what Julie is going to share, she can give some like examples of how she uses that really can be applied to anyone. So sorry, I feel like I took the words out of your mouth.
No, you didn't. That's exactly right. I think Julie, you can hear from me. I am a short-term host, but I think Julie can tell this story much better and show you what that really looks like.
Thank you, Annie. All right, so now I'm so excited to introduce Julie. So I mentioned before, but if you weren't here right at the beginning, so Julie is the owner of The Haven in North Carolina. Together with her husband, she has 2 cabins. Cabins, maybe the wrong word, units. Okay, I'll let you share. But we are so excited to have you here, and yeah, I'll pass it on to you. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your STR journey, and how you use Guesty and the host co, so you can share from personal experience how you came to use Guesty, what's your experience with the host co, and just take it. Yeah.
Sounds good. So as Naima introduced me earlier, I'm a new short-term rental owner. I started in September 2024 with 2 units, cabins, villas, whatever you want to call them, you can call them.
They're beautiful. If anyone hasn't gone onto Julie's Instagram, so there's a QR code right now, so you can go check it out as well, just to give you a picture. Actually, here's a little sneak peek.
And these are actually 2 of the packages that we offer through the host co on our website, or actually through all of our email communications and everything. But we actually have 2 units. They're in the top 5% of homes. We're planning to build 2 more in the coming months. We've been a small business owner. My husband and I have been a small business owner for about 15 years. We've got multiples, um, and we have CPA firms in Tennessee and Georgia. But we wanted to branch out from CPA and add something fun to our portfolio. So we decided to go into the STR market and diversify. Um, we love hospitality, and I really love my husband. We've been married 27 years. So we wanted to design like a couples retreat. So we purchased land in North Carolina, but that's about 3.5 hours away from our current home and businesses. So distance can be a challenge. And also multiple units can be a challenge. So that's where we came into finding Guesty. We're familiar with PMS. We use a practice management software for our firms, but so we knew we needed something for our units in North Carolina, but there were so many options. So we dug in, we did a lot of research, we demoed, we interviewed. Um, we had to travel, to talk to people who were doing what we wanted to do. So that was the hardest part, was the travel part, but we really enjoyed it. But we did talk to people who were managing. We ended up with Guesty just because it was so user friendly. It was comprehensive. The onboarding was seamless. The tools really guided me. I think I learned more from the tools than I did from interviewing other hosts, actually. There were tools that were there that I just didn't even know I needed. And that was very, very helpful for me. And then the task management is awesome, whether you're at a distance or not. It's perfect for communicating with your people who do the things, who do all the things. And then the multiple platforms with the unified listings and the automations were a game changer for us. I honestly, I don't think I'd be a super host without Guesty. That really allows me to do the communication that gives me the reviews that you guys saw earlier. And the other thing about Guesty is they're always looking to improve their offerings and their collaboration opportunities, like with the Host Co, who I adore. Um, the Host Co allows me to provide a curated experience for my guests. And that's something Annie alluded to earlier when she said that people are coming for an experience versus a location. Um, and we're remote. We're not in a tourist hotspot. But I think through that, curating that experience has really allowed us to appeal to um, visitors. And we're in North Carolina. We're in Western North Carolina. So some of you may or may not know, last year, 24 days after we opened, a hurricane hit and flooded our area and I mean, tourism is down to about 20% of what it was the year before. But we're operating at, I mean, we're doing double or triple what other people in the area are doing. And I feel like we can attribute a lot of that to both Guesty and the Host Co. Um, but the Host Co allowed us, it just drives additional revenue seamlessly. And we needed that, especially with the dip in tourism. And the Host Co did all the hard work for me. They already had vendors and things in place. I just joined, and there were already experiences that were being offered. But I think my favorite thing was that they allowed me to request additional vendors. And they made it so easy for that to happen. So we really developed like this nice little community with vendors and me as a host in my area. And I think because the vendors do kind of like the hard work, I can focus more on my guest experience and the things that I offer at my place, and focus on wowing my guest. And so the guests love it. They absolutely love the add-ons. I call them add-ons, not ancillary services, but I'm going to use that. I'm going
Yeah.
to use that from now on. But they love it. They rave about them. They are talking about them on social media posts, in the reviews. They're giving referrals, just like Annie said. People say things like, "We'll be back. We're already planning our next visit. I can't wait to tell my friend about XYZ." I got a booking last night where the person said, "My lash lady told me about this," and I knew who it was. I was like, "Do you use Kelsey?" And because we just bonded, it's just, it's been a lot of, I've really, hospitality is near and dear to my heart and I love it. But with the Guesty and the host code together, it just makes it, oh, it makes it so easy, and it allows me to do what I love the most, and that is making guests feel important and just feel the love and all those good things.
And these pictures that I'm showing, so we have this incredible picnic. You mentioned it's a destination for couples. Do you want to just quickly tell us what we're seeing?
So, the picnic is a pop-up picnic package that we offer on site. It takes about 15 or 20 minutes to set up. And we do like charcuterie and bubbly and all the fun things, that go with the picnic package. But it allows couples to come up and they don't have to worry about lugging all the things around. They don't have to worry about doing any of that. They pay a nice premium for that. And it's up on our picnic hill, which is just
Beautiful.
up. Oh my gosh, the views are incredible.
Yeah,
And the weather is nice. It's cool. It's like 72 degrees is the high there today. It's incredible.
that's
Um, and we've had a lot of proposals up there. We've done some elopements there with the picnics and everything. So it's one of my favorite things. And it's very easy to just set up and have ready for the clients. And then the other photograph is our romance package. And I- if anybody owns short-term rentals, you don't want open flames in your place, right? Like, it's insurance just says no open flames. These are all those flameless candles, and we just go in. It takes about 15 minutes to set them up everywhere. They're remote controlled. We turn them on, put some nice flower petals around, have a nice little sweet treats charcuterie board with like chocolates and strawberries and things. Um, and it is one of our best sellers. We oftentimes set this up around the hot tub outside and have the hot tub lit and going, and it's beautiful, and it's such an easy thing to set up, and the guests love it.
amazing. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
It's
And
so
those are
fun.
just, yeah, those are just two examples I know of a bunch of things that you offer. But I think that's also inspiring, thinking a little bit outside the box, using what you have, adding to it,
Mhm.
using local vendors, right? Is
Mhm.
also part of that. So that's incredible. Um, I'm wondering if, so you said a lot of very interesting things and I think are very, very useful and practical, but do you have maybe, let's say, what's your biggest piece of advice or your top two pieces of advice? Maybe we'll keep it at two because I'm sure you have so much to share that you would give to other hosts who are either getting started or already running and just looking to take their hospitality to that next level.
So I think the obvious first one is use Guesty and use the host code. Like, you need these two things in your life.
We didn't tell you to say that.
No, they did
No.
not, I promise. That both of these tools have been a game changer for me. But outside of that, I would say definitely invest in professional photography.
Yeah.
It may be a little, and I know everybody's heard that before, but invest in professional photography for your for both your website, for your listing photos, and for your social media. Um, get some lifestyle photos, make that really come to life. Let people see themselves in the situation.
Mhm.
Definitely work your social media. Every time we post about a picnic or a romance package on social media, or whenever our clients post about them, we sell more.
Mhm.
So that is, I mean, you definitely want to definitely do that. And then I would say research and curate. Know who your target market is, especially like what I think everybody's been saying before. People are coming for an experience. We're remote. We're 45 minutes outside of Asheville, up way up high in a mountain in the middle of a national forest. It's not easy to get to where we are, but people are coming for the seclusion, the experience, the picnics, the romance. They're coming, and that has really been such a blessing to us in a time of, diminished activity in our area. So that's a good one too. But I think it's because we really researched our target market and we have curated the experiences to that target.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Wow, so interesting. I wish we have time for more. I want to make sure that we answer some questions because I see that we've got a bunch. So let me I'm going to pull up the questions. If anyone else wants to ask a question to any of us, then please now put it in the Q&A. We'll see how many we can get through, but if we can't get through all of them, then I promise we will follow up with answers via email. And here, just before I bring that up, so here's the QR code or here, actually, I'm not sure what direction. This is the QR code to join our Facebook community, as I mentioned before. And let me just pull up the questions. So first of all, I love that people in the Q&A were telling us where they're from. So I'm happy that caught on. Okay. So this is a question to Annie and Julie. I think it's kind of a specific question, but let's try and keep it more general. So they're asking if full service hotel makes 30% of their revenue from upsells. What would you say the percentage is in your STR revenue from the same idea? And goes to Annie and then Julie, if you have an insight.
Yeah, I think with STR, so the average Hostco store makes between $200 and $400 a month in additional revenue, which it absolutely depends on what you're selling. We have single STRs that are making $3,000 a week because they're also offering a pontoon boat with the husband as the driver, right? And then we have some people who are literally just selling Christmas ornaments in the shape of Washington State. And that's all they want to sell. And that's great. Good for them, right? But the average is going to be 200 to 400, I would say, per listing per month. And that can, again, you can dramatically increase that. But the other part of that is those services are not just the additional revenue. They're also driving, as Julie said, 2x, 3x the bookings because people see those services there. We have a host property manager in Texas, and they have a tiny home park. Okay. And they started using the host co, and they were offering, this is so funny, all-in kits, which was firewood, s'mores, and I think a case of water in their tiny homes, right? And they started making more money in net revenue from those all-in kits than they were from the nightly rate on the tiny homes, right? So they're doubling their revenue. They also added a Bigfoot sighting package. And again, that's something where they had to have someone doing that, right? They had to be close by or have someone doing that. And they said that we did this Bigfoot sighting. It was really fun. Our kids loved it. That family rebooked 2 weeks later, the whole park with the extended family because they enjoyed it so much. So 2 weeks later, we're coming back. We had so much fun, right? So that is also really big part of that revenue picture.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, a quick question, I think for me. So my management company is using Guesty for reservations and documentation. Do you work with both management companies and individual STR owners? So yes, I won't go into it too much, but Guesty has a bunch of different packages. We have some packages that are for management companies, maybe like yourself, with 30, 50, 100, 500 properties, but we also curate specifically in Guesty Lite. We curate, take the best of Guesty and just strip it down to individual STR owners like Julie, who has right now 2 listings. Or if you're going to 4, that's great. Guesty Lite is still perfect for you. Even if you have 10, still perfect for you. But yes, to answer your question, that we work with both. Okay, another question for Annie. Well, first of all, there's so many questions. So Annie and Julie, I hope you're ready. Okay. Okay, so Annie, how do you upsell without upsell in your posting description to inform all these ancillary services? At what point of the booking do you inform these services? And I think you touched on that a little bit, but that's a good question.
I would say this is actually my biggest piece of advice, is that you should be talking about services you have available in your listing. That doesn't mean you should be giving links off, because, and I'll talk about Airbnb services briefly too, but you should be showing photos of that. You should be mentioning we have these services available. After your guest books, you should right away be sharing with them, hey, we're so excited to have you stay. If you'd like to add any upgrades, local services, see what we have available. And that is a link, and that link is shareable in Airbnb. It's shareable across it's definitely through Guesty as well. But since Airbnb, especially since their policy changes, everything's been, they're happy with us. So that's a good thing. And you want to share those services right after they book, not because they're going to buy them then. No one's going to, it's sort of like when you get an airline ticket and they say, do you want a rental car? You're generally not getting the rental car then, right? But you're socializing that those things are available right after they book. And you're socializing where they can come back and find them, which also creates a lot of efficiencies. If you're like me and Joshua Tree, someone books, the next day they say, hey, do you know where we can get a massage? And they're not going to read your guidebook or your welcome guide. I think we all know that, right? You send them a phone number. They write back and they say, hey, they're not available. Do you have a second person? Oh yeah, here's the second person. Oh, they're not answering. Do you have a third person? It's creating all this repetitive work for you that if you socialize early where they can find that info, they're not going to ask you, which is really helpful. Also, if they're seeing all that right after they book, you're also socializing things that might have a cost. If your late checkout is $20 an hour, right? If a package returned, even, they forgot their teddy bear and they need it across the country in 3 hours, you're going to spend half a day at the store. If you're socializing not only what's available, but what those things are in that picture, your guests are going to be much happier with you, even if there is a cost of something, right? And then about 1 week before the stay, re-socializing that, get excited, you're 1 week out. If you'd like to add anything to your stay, here's what's available. Many of these products have a lead time. I think we all know you can't get a massage therapist there in 1 hour in a rural area, right? So go ahead and book now. And that's when people are getting excited for their trip. That is when they're going to do a lot of that booking. You can, of course, then socialize it throughout. You don't want to be constantly messaging them, but when they check in, hey, guess what's available, right? But most people are going to do the booking or about a week before their stay.
Thank you. Julie, so first of all, a lot of thank yous to Julie in the chat. There's I'm inspired by Julie comment. But here's a question for you. So you mentioned that you add local vendors. So how do you know what is available in your specific area?
Oh, that's the most fun because I had to go look. I had to go look and see. We'd go downtown, we'd check out local restaurants, we'd talk to people. That was the most fun of the whole thing was doing the research. And that's deductible, guys. Research is deductible. I mean, from a CPA firm, I'm telling you this. You have to know how to make those things work for you. But we literally went and did the things. We looked for alpaca yoga, fly fishing trips, um, a tea room. There's a tea room in town. There's this great little wine cellar that will do a private dinner in conjunction with a really popular restaurant in town. They have a private chef that comes in, and if as long as you buy the wine from the place
Mm.
and the food from the other place, you get the room for free. It's just there were so many fun things that we talked to people. We also utilized our local tourism bureau because we're not from that area. We just did a lot of research and we had the most fun doing that.
I think that's also really interesting and kind of adds into your point on both of your points on social media, right? If you're working with these local services, they're probably promoting you as well, right? They're
Yes.
promoting that
Yes.
package. If people are just looking to stay in a certain area, then that will come up. And that's great for social media and just building that community, right, of local referrals, I guess.
Yes.
I would also say, Julie hit this on the head, know your market. I
Right.
mean, you don't want to be the brochure rack at a Best Western. Here's 90 things. People don't go to Napa, California to go skydiving or, or bungee jumping. They're going for a romantic wine-filled weekend generally. So offering them the 8 or 10 things that you know that they're going to want based on also what your past guests have asked for. And if you have someone doing your operations as a property manager, it's really important that they are listening, because often in previous years they've just had to say no or check out our local guidebook, right? But really start listening for what your guests are asking for, and then think, how can I connect, automate it so I'm not doing it, but how do I put that into our system?
Right. Okay, I want to get through one more question. Are we good? Maybe two. Let's start with one. It's a continuation of what we were saying, and a lot of people are asking. They're trying to take inspiration and thinking already of their listings, what's local to them. So I kind of understand where all these questions are coming from. I'll just take one. So how does HostCo source and validate these extra services?
Yeah. So at the HostCo, we only vet vendors that have been brought to us by hosts and property managers. So we do not allow a vendor to apply to the HostCo. And that's, I think, the really big difference between us and something like a Viator or any OTA. We are not, because we are not taking money from these vendors, we're not saying, oh, we'll take any vendor. It has to be someone that is brought to us from a property manager. And then what happens is we have a concierge team that goes and vets those vendors. Do they have business insurance? Do they have a license? Do they have great reviews? And once they pass that, and we also price out different things in the area, we add those into our database. So in any place, primarily the US, but we also have now Europe, Mexico, Canada, a few vendors.
Someone asked about Mexico.
Yes.
So please answer their question.
Yes, we only are displayed. We have users in 17 countries, and you can use any currency, but you're only displayed in US dollars until a little later this year, but that's coming soon. And we put them in our database. And we have a very large database. We have vendors from national coverage, the same Sooth and Zeal, the same massage companies that Hilton and Marriott use, down to much smaller companies doing, balloon arch over the front door before you arrive, or all those things in a database. And our concierge team manages that database. So when something comes in to request a vendor, we have humans who know the entire database, and they're also speaking with those vendors. So it is not just a wish into the wind. It's, here are our 4 favorite vendors in this area. Can you fulfill this service at this time at this place? Are there insurance forms? We can do all of that. We're essentially doing fulfillment with that vendor on the back.
Amazing. All right. I think we covered a lot. We gave a lot of very practical tips and advice. There are more questions about how the HostCo does certain things and how Guesty does certain things. And I know we'd both be happy to answer those as a follow-up. So we're going to be sending, together with the recording of this this event. We're going to be sending also links to get in touch with us, and really any questions, we're going to make sure that they get answered. Yeah, I want to end just by saying thank you, first of all, to all of you who joined from all over the world. Really, really cool, really exciting. And a special thank you to Annie, our partner, and to Julie, one of our favorite customers. It's really been an incredible hour. Yeah, if you want to say anything before we turn off.
Thank you, everyone. You can email info@thehost.co with any questions, or just find us or chat us or anything. We are here to answer lots of questions.
Yes. Julie, there's a lot for you. So by the way, I'm just going to plug this in again. The Facebook community, Julie's there. Julie's on the Facebook community. If you have any questions, let's join the community. It's a great place to ask questions, get advice from other hosts. And it's just a very great place to have those conversations. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. And I think we'll call it an event. Thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you, Nama, Julie, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.